Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama Hare Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gaurani Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Nitya Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaur Hari Bol Jayam Vishnupad Paramaswara Gacharya Stottar Satar Shri Shrimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Beauty Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena. Text number 37. Bhagavan api rajarshe sopadhyayasya chachuta araniva mano amusya swadhama pratyapadyata. Bhagavan api rajarshe सोपाध्यायस्य चाच्युता अरानिव मनो अमुष्य स्वधामा प्रत्यपद्यत. भगवानपि राजर्षे सोपाध्यायस्य चाच्युता अरानिव मनो अमुष्य स्वधामा प्रत्यपद्यत. Any Matajis? What word meaning? Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Api, also. Raja Rishi, of the saintly king. Sa Upadhyayasya, along with all the priests. Cha, also. Achyuta, the infallible Lord. Haran, captivating. Iva, indeed. Mana, the mind. Amusya, of him. Sadhama, to his abode. Patya Padyata, return. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The infallible Supreme Personality Godhead, having captivated the minds of the king and the priests who were present, returned to his abode in the spiritual sky. Purport. Because the Supreme Personality Godhead is all spiritual, he can descend from the spiritual sky without changing his body, and thus he is known as Achyuta or infallible. When a living entity falls down to the material world, however, he has to accept a material body, and therefore, in his material embodiment, he cannot be called Achyuta. Because he falls down from his real engagement in the service of the Lord, the living entity gets a material body to suffer or try to enjoy in the miserable material conditions of life. Therefore, the fallen living entity is Chuta, whereas the Lord is called Achyuta. The Lord was attractive for everyone, not only the king, but also the priestly order, who were very much addicted to the performance of Vedic rituals. Because the Lord is all attractive, he is called Krishna, or one who attracts everyone. The Lord appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Prithu as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. He is the second incarnation from Karnodakshaya Vishnu, who is the origin of material creation, and who expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who then enters into each and every universe. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is one of the Purushas who control the material modes of nature. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatare Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च तानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangayate girim. Yat kripaha tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of His Grace Anandamaya Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that I can glorify the Lord for my purification of heart. So I'm not qualified to speak on this verse, as this verse is talking about Achyuta, the Lord who is infallible. I am a fallible soul, conditioned by the three modes. So in this particular section, we are seeing how Lord Vishnu appeared. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. So the Lord kindly appears out of His causeless mercy. So here Lord appeared pleased by Prithu devotion. Although the sacrifice was not completed, still the Lord was pleased by his service attitude of stopping that yajna, and he gave wonderful instructions to Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj very submissively heard those instructions, and after being pleased by his prayers, and then Lord eventually, in the previous verses it is mentioned how the Lord was initially planning to leave, but seeing the amazing qualities of Prithu, he was not able to leave. So finally in this verse it is being mentioned how the Lord, infallible Lord, having captivated the minds of the kings and the priests, returned to his abode. So the Lord, when he appears, as Prabhupada is mentioning, he descends from the spiritual sky on his own accord, and his body is infallible, spiritual, not like our body. So by his beauty, by his opulences, by his qualities, the Lord attracts the minds of the conditioned souls, so that we can serve him and eventually get purified and develop love of Godhead and go back home, back to Godhead. So the Lord is not forced to take birth like the conditioned souls of this world. When we take birth, we are forced to take birth as per one's karma in different yonis, different species of life. One takes birth, and but the Lord, he can appear anywhere, anytime, as per his own accord, as per his desire. So we see that Lord Narsimhadev, he appeared from pillar. Lord Varaha, he appeared from the nose of Lord Brahma. So Lord Matsya, he appeared in the water and then eventually increased his size. So Lord, wherever he wants, he can appear. There is no, in the sense, limit or restriction for the Lord. For us, there are so many restrictions because we are conditioned souls, conditioned by the three modes of material nature. But the Lord is transcendental to the three modes, so he can travel anywhere, he can appear anywhere, he can disappear anywhere, from anywhere. So, and he can also show any form anywhere. So here particularly, another point is that how when the Lord appears, he doesn't appear with an ordinary body, like material body. Lord appears with spiritual body, Satchidananda body. So we see that when Lord Krishna appeared, he appeared with the whole jail became very effulgent, although it was very dark place. And Lord appeared with Shankha Chakra, Padma. Whereas conditioned souls, when they take birth, they don't appear. They have to take birth. They are forced to take birth. So only Lord can appear. Okay. So when we take birth, we see that the children, they cry, and their body is covered by all fluids, and they have to clean. Very horrible. And the process of taking birth is also very painful. So that's why the children are crying, and they are completely in ignorance. They don't know, right, where they are, what they are doing, right? Completely in ignorance. But Lord, when He appears, He is smiling, and He is completely aware of everything. And He accepts the prayers of devotees, He blesses them, and He goes back after fulfilling the purpose. So that's it, the difference between us and the Supreme Lord. So here Prabhupada is focusing on how the Lord is Achyuta, is infallible. So in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, this word comes, Senayor Ubayor Madhyar Atam Stapayati Chita. So there Prabhupada says that the Lord is infallible. The Lord never forgets to show His compassion to its devotees. Never fails in showing His compassion to His devotees. So we see that when a devotee takes shelter of the Lord, when a devotee is in helpless situation, Lord is always accessible or available to show His mercy. So we see the Pandavas, so they were, in the sense, having very less soldiers, army, only 7 Akshwani Sena. And also Arjuna at that particular point of time, he was not able to decide whether to fight or not. He was very indecisive, disturbed. So Lord was personally present as his chariot driver. So Prabhupada says that although the Supreme Lord became Parthasarthi, the chariot driver for Arjuna, still his position remains the Supreme Lord. Not that because he took the position of a chariot driver, so he has become something ordinary. Okay. So the unique position of the Lord is that no matter what position he takes, he still remains the Supreme Lord. Like we see that Krishna, he becomes Bal Gopal. He becomes a small child to perform childhood pastimes with Mother Yashoda or the Gopis, right? So, although he becomes a small child, tiny child, in the hands of Mother Yashoda, sometimes running in fear of Yashoda or being tied by Yashoda, or sometimes he's carrying the cowherd boys on his shoulder. Sometimes they are no, teasing him, joking with him, right? So although he is doing all these childhood activities, it's not that Lord has fallen from his position. He still remains the Supreme Lord. And he has shown how by killing Putana, by lifting Govardhan hill, or by showing universes in his mouth. So the Lord always remains supreme, although he is performing such childhood pastimes with all his various devotees. So in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th chapter, there is mention of how the Lord remains unaffected. This section also proves that how the Lord is infallible, although is amongst so many opulences surrounding him. So 1.11.36 Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwaraka. Uddhama bhava pishunamala valguhasa व्रीडावलोकनिहतो मदनोऽपियासं सम्मोह्य चापमजहत् प्रमदोत्तमास्त यस्येन्द्रियं विमथितुं कुहकैर्न शेकु. So the translation, all the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. So, the Supreme Lord, we know that he married 16,108 wives who were caught by Jarasandha, and they took shelter of Lord. So they were all sages in their past lives who actually requested Lord Ram to marry them. So, but Lord said, when I come as Lord Krishna, then I will fulfill your desire. So we can see that Lord, how how he exhibited so many opulences. So generally, in the next verse it comes how conditioned souls, they think that Lord is like a materialistic person. The next verse says, Tamayam manyate loko yasangam hi api sanginam atmopamyena manujam vyapranvanam yato abuddha. The common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. So it appears not only in this particular situation, but even when the Lord danced with the gopis in the rasa dance, it appears that Lord is like a conditioned soul attracted by the gopis dancing with them. So, but the Lord still remains infallible, although he is associating with them. He is completely detached. Because we see that when the Lord sensed a tinge of pride in the gopis, immediately left their association. And also Lord eventually he leaves to Mathura from Vrindavan. Although so many Vrajavasis, they love him so much, still he leaves them forever. He never returns back. At the age of 11, he goes. So this shows that how the Lord is actually unattached. He was not like any conditioned soul. But conditioned souls, they think they compare the Lord with themselves, and they think that the Lord is also like one of them, out of their ignorance. So here it is mentioned that these queens are so beautiful that the Cupid will be conquered by them, or even Lord Shiva would fall victim to them. But the Lord was completely unagitated. So the Lord, he could actually expand himself into 16,108 times, and he could enter each of their palace, and he could accept all their service. So the Lord is mentioned as Atmaram. He is self-satisfied. So then why he is expanding like that, and why he is marrying this queens? It is just to reciprocate with the devotees. So the devotees want to serve the Lord in various ways, in various rasas. So the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, he expands in various ways and means to reciprocate with their love. But the Lord is never captivated by the three modes like any conditioned soul. So that's why the Lord, one of the in general, the conditioned souls get affected by Madan, Cupid. The Lord is known as Madan Mohan, because even Madan is attracted by Lord Krishna. As Prabhupada is mentioning, how Lord Krishna is very, very attractive. He is all attractive. So why the Lord accepted this service? Prabhupada says the queens could not satisfy the Lord. What the Lord is attracted by? It's not that Lord is attracted by, here Prabhupada is mentioning, they could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied Him by their sincere affection and service. So, what attracted them is not the external features or the feminine attractive features. What actually attracted the Lord is the sincerity of their service, affection in the service. So, that attracted the Lord. So, Lord is not pleased by or attracted by superficial things of this world. Lord is only attracted by that sincere service attitude. So, when a devotee wants to render unalloyed devotional service, then Lord is willing to reciprocate in that way, whoever it is. Even Gajendra, when he called the Lord helplessly with love and devotion, immediately Lord appeared there, right? So we should not compare the Lord with any conditioned soul. So in the 38th verse, again it is mentioned, Etad Ishanam Ishasya Prakristospi Tadgunai Na Yujjate Sadatmastair Yata Buddhis Tadashraya. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. So, this is very important. So, the Lord is unaffected, okay, by the three modes of material nature, the qualities of material nature, although he is in contact with them. So, just like somebody is vaccinated for no, all viruses, so even if it enters an area which is affected, he will be unaffected by that. But somebody who is not, he may easily get affected by that surroundings. So the Lord is transcendental to the three modes. He is the one who has created the material nature, right? So how he can be affected? So here the important thing is that devotees who also take shelter of the Lord, they can also become transcendental to the three modes of material nature. That is very, very important. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So the Lord is willing to giving assurance that if you surrender to me, definitely I will protect. So having faith in that words, the devotees, they take shelter of the Lord. So in one of the verses it is mentioned Achyuta Bhava Siddha. So if a devotee achieves perfection by dint of devotional service and is fully absorbed in devotional service, then he also becomes infallible. Okay, he also doesn't become affected by the three modes of material nature. So this is very important because generally we see that even after coming to devotional service, we become affected by the material modes of nature. In fact, we perform devotional service in various modes: devotional service in ignorance, devotional service in passion and goodness. Devotional service is not in modes, in the sense we are in modes. Okay, so because we are in modes, we perform those particular activities in that particular mode. It's not that chanting is in modes, but we are in ignorance or in passion, so accordingly we chant in that way. Okay, so we have to absorb ourselves in devotional service so that gradually we transcend these three modes. So the most important way by which we can transcend this is the association of devotees and chanting the holy names of the Lord. Out of the 64 items of devotional service given by Rupa Goswami, 5 are most important. And out of the five, the most important is association of devotees. And after that, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, those people who fell down from the path of devotional service, like Bharat Maharaj or Maharaja Yati, Pururava or Ajamil. So in all these cases, we see that they were not in association of devotees. Okay, so because they were not in association of devotees, they fell down to the various praise of Maya. Hmm? So at least there was some opportunity. It's not that if you are in association, one may not fall down. Even in association, sometimes if somebody is careless, they may fall down. But at least in association of devotees, other devotees can warn us or protect us from Maya. But when there is no association, one may easily fall prey. One may become fallible. So, and next important thing is chanting the holy names of the Lord. So Prabhupada warns us in many letters and in many of his purports how the chanting of the holy names is so important. So Prabhupada says that if we are not chanting 16 rounds attentively every single day, avoiding 10 offenses carefully, at any moment one can fall down. Prabhupada says in one of his letters, at any moment. Because Maya is so powerful that if we are not very careful in chanting and avoiding the 10 offenses, so with one strong wave of Maya, one can fall down. One can become Chuta, as Prabhupada is mentioning, fallible. Chuta means fallible. So, so devotees have to be very, very careful in this matter. At one more place, yesterday we were reading Prabhupada's quotes on chanting. So, in that, Prabhupada is mentioning that constant chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra protects us from accidental fall downs. So, constant chanting, right? So, before constant chanting, even whatever chanting we are doing, in that also we are not actually properly chanting. So, Rajan was once telling that we should not be cheating, we should be chanting properly. Means cheating means very superficially, ritualistically, no, just rotating the mala, not absorbing ourselves in taking shelter of the Lord, or just sleeping. So, actually, when we don't understand how these 10 offenses are very grave, very serious, and when we don't realize that the holy name is not different from the Lord, and how Lord with all his Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. So the Supreme Lord with all his powers, with all his potencies, is personally present in the holy name. There is no difference. Abhinatvam Namanamino. The Lord and His holy name, there is no difference. So, we should remember the potencies of the Lord or the power of the Lord. One of the expansions of Lord is Mahavishnu. And when He exhales from His skin pores, the universes are coming. Right? So much the Lord is so powerful. Right? So all that power and much more, right, is there in the holy name, right? But then when we are chanting, we are completely neglectful of the Lord's presence in the holy name, and we take it very cheaply. Ye thamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajameham. As you surrender to me, Lord says, I also accordingly reciprocate. So if we take Lord cheaply, then Lord also will take us cheaply, right? Lord will not take us so seriously. So we should value We should value what we have received from the Supreme Lord. And then Lord will also value us, or He will be pleased by our efforts. At least we should put endeavors. So without putting endeavors, Lord will not be pleased. So in the Damodar Leela also we see how Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna, but Krishna was not allowing. So she tried so much that finally Krishna was pleased by her endeavors, right? Then finally he was bound by her love. So sometimes we think that, okay, I should get mercy, or please pray for me, right? Okay, that is also good, but important thing is that, yeah, blessings will surely come, but we should also endeavor. Because unless we put our sincere efforts, okay, Lord will not reciprocate. So like when we are chanting, we should avoid these 10 offenses. So like we see the 10th offense, to not have complete faith in chanting the holy names, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. So first of all, we don't have complete faith. So we have to hear the glories of holy name. We should understand the glories of holy name. Then gradually our faith will increase. And how holy name is transforming so many people all over the world, and transforming ourselves also. To the degree we seriously apply to this process, to that degree the holy name will also transform us. And in spite of hearing so many instructions, because we have so many material attachments of this world, so we are more attached to them than the Lord. Okay, so that's why when chanting, one who is in mode of passion, he will keep thinking about those thoughts or those attachments which he has. So either one is chanting in mode of ignorance, sleeping, means he is not chanting only. And in mode of passion, even while chanting, he is thinking of so many other things, about services or fear of future, so many, or lamenting about past. So this is all because of our material attachments. Uh, so unless we give up this material attachments, we cannot chant properly. So a sadhaka, he has to be very cautious. He has to be very cautious, and he has to be conscious about his chanting. Okay, so at least that's why it is recommended that one be in mode of goodness, because in mode of goodness one is in knowledge, and at least he is conscious about what he is doing in knowledge. Okay, so then we can at least try to understand what we are doing instead of mindlessly doing. So many times we do as a ritual, because okay, I am supposed to chant 16 rounds to get initiated. I have to chant, or to stay in voice or in temple, I have to chant. So then somebody is just chanting as a ritual, or every day 2 hours I have to somehow sit and rotate the mala because I am supposed to do like that. It is a daily activity. Yeah. So then if we do like that, then we'll not make much advancement. So our heart should be involved in chanting. Hmm? So when it comes to sense gratification, our heart is fully involved. Huh? But when it comes to devotional activities, or the core devotional activities of chanting, hearing, our heart is not involved. So why? Because we are more attached to sense gratification than Krishna. We are more attached to sense gratification than giving pleasure to Krishna. Right? Suppose there is some nice feast, nobody sleeps. Right? If there is nice feast of plate with paneer sabji and puri and sweets and So we never see anybody sleeping there, right, in front of plate, right? Uh, but the Lord is giving Himself fully, right? Right? So in the form of holy name is fully accessible. But then when Lord is appearing in this way, we are, or in the form of hearing also we are hearing. So, but then during those times we sleep. Uh, because we sleep, we are sleeping from the devotional service, right? So why we are sleeping in that? Because we take it very casually. Also, we feel इसमें तो कुछ मजा नहीं है. Yeah, means we are not getting sufficient sense gratification which we are looking for, right? So then, actually, even while honoring prasad, we are actually doing sense gratification if we are not very attentive, right? So because then when items are not good, oh, what is this? Why they made like this? Huh? Right? We are not actually honoring the Lord's mercy, right? We are honoring our ego, right? What satisfies me, no, I will do that. Okay, I am happy with it. And what doesn't satisfy me, I am angry, I am upset, or I am not so interested in it, right? So we should be very careful even while performing devotional activities, whether we are here to please Krishna or whether we are here to please our false ego, right? Because in the name of devotional service also, one may be actually pleasing one's false ego, right? What is satisfying one's ego, it does more and more. And what is actually pleasing to Krishna is very neglectful or is not very attentive to those details. Okay? So one should be careful. Otherwise, one will actually, at the end of life, one may imagine that, oh, my Bhaktilata Bij is about to reach spiritual world and Krishna is going to accept me. But we may end up in heaven or hell if we are not careful. Yeah. If we are attached to material opulences, we'll end up in heaven. If you do too many sinful activities, breaking the four rigs, one may end up in hell also, or offending Vaishnavas. So one should be careful not to take this process lightly. So thank you very much. We'll end here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.